Steel garden edging with a rust finish has become incredibly popular over the last few years, but it's blimmin' expensive. So today I'm going to show you how to turn sheet steel that you can buy locally for a lot less than you think into strips of garden edging that any DIYer can cut and accelerate the rusting process so you end up with something that looks like CorTen steel for about 10 or 15% of the original price. I can't do any better than that. Using steel in your garden that's got a rust type finish has become incredibly popular over the last 5 or 10 years. And the company that's produced most of it is called CorTen. So now everyone calls this CorTen steel, whether it comes from CorTen or not. It's a bit like calling any vacuum cleaner Hoover. Now, this sort of finish really came about in the architectural world years and years ago. And a couple of examples that spring to my mind is that monolith at Liverpool Street Station in London. And probably the best known example in the UK is the Angel of the North, which has got the same type of finish. And that's not because this has just been left outside in the weather to rust. It's been coated with something to accelerate that type of finish and to give it a certain style. And more people are using that style in their gardens for things like planters and decorations and edging around your borders and lawns, which is exactly what I'm going to show you how to make today. Now, I've looked at buying this type of edging a number of times over the years, and I've always been put off because of the cost. This can easily cost you £8 or £10 per linear metre. And by the time I worked out how many linear metres I wanted, I've just thought that's too expensive and I don't want to spend that sort of money. However, if you can cut your edging from a full sheet of steel, suddenly the numbers completely change. This is a part of a sheet that I bought yesterday. This is 0.8 of a millimetre thick, and the full sheet is 2 metres by 1, and I can get about 18 linear metres out of a full sheet, and it cost me £28. So that's about £1.50 per linear metre rather than £10 off the internet, which is a complete difference. But where are you going to buy sheet steel like this? Because you're not going to get it B&Q or Wickes. Well, there are steel suppliers out there, the sort of places that your local builder is going to go to for RSJs and bits and pieces like that. They're not well advertised, but I guarantee you they're going to be close to where you live. You just need to find them, talk to them about sheet steel. They'll be able to get it in if they don't already supply it. And for a couple of quid, they'll probably be able to cut it into for you so you can get it into the car as well. So before I start cutting this into strips, I want to do a bit of an experiment on the rusting process. So I'm going to cut one strip off of this and use different materials to see if I can get the thing to rust. And hopefully I can get something going before I install it. The first thing you need to do, whatever finish you're trying to give sheet steel, is to degrease it. And that's because after manufacturing, they coat the steel with a thin layer of light oil just to stop it rusting. This test strip I've split into 5 sections. The first one I apply normal water to. The second one I add salt water and a few extra granules just for good luck. The third one is just pure white vinegar, the type that you'd use for cleaning. The next is hydrogen peroxide, that's H2O2. Both of these solutions I've bought from Amazon. I'll put the links to them in the description below. And the last one is a combination of salt, hydrogen peroxide and vinegar. The ratio I'm using here is a good dose of salt, then 60 to 70% hydrogen peroxide, and then the rest, say 30 to 40% vinegar, all mixed together with the salt dissolved, which is what I then spray the 5th section with. Wow, that has started somewhat quickly. I didn't expect it quite to react that quick, to be honest with you. So while I wait for that steel to hopefully rust, I'm going to get on and start cutting my strips of edging. They're going to be 100mm high. I'm going to bury maybe 25mm in the ground, so I end up with sort of 3 inches sticking up. Now this obviously is the hardest part of this whole process because cutting steel is obviously a lot more difficult than cutting timber, but fear not, once you know how to, it's not something to be too worried about. What I would say is if you've got a preferred way of cutting, then go for it. Most people would pick up an angle grinder, maybe cut along a straight edge on the steel to get a nice straight edge. However, that does give you a bit of a ragged edge eventually. The way I prefer to do it is actually using my cordless circular saw. Yes, you can use a standard cordless circular saw as long as you change the blade to a steel cutting blade. Now this blade, I bought this when I was building my electric bike store, and it's already cut many dozens of linear meters of steel, and it's still got lots of life in it. I bought this off of Amazon for £22, so it's not that expensive. I'll put a link to this in the description below, and essentially turns your standard wooden circular saw into a metal cutting saw. The only drawback to this is that, unlike sawdust that comes off of timber, the metal chips that come off of this tend to fly around the guard and then get ejected in all directions. So if you're going to use this, it's really, really important not just to use standard eye protection, but to use a full face mask so you don't get it in your face. Decent gloves, and from experience, I'm going to be using a jacket as well, because these chips fly everywhere. So make sure there's no one around you and you're fully protected. Once you do that, a couple of earplugs as well, then you can actually concentrate on the work. So all I need to do is to take this blade out, put this blade in, and I'm ready to cut steel. Weapon of choice. Weapon of choice. Check. New weapon of joy. Always weapon. Check out. Joy always. Yeah. You can blow with this, or you can blow with that. You can blow with this, or you can blow with that. Or you can blow with this, or you can blow with that. Or you can blow with us. So that is, oh, blimey, the last piece of steel. So that's my 10 meters cut. And as you can imagine, the edges are a little bit rough at the moment. So what I'm going to do is, hopefully with a sander, but maybe a angle grinder, just round off those edges, just get rid of any burrs and whatever. And then essentially I've got my 10 meters done. Then I can start looking at the brackets that hold them in the ground. And I don't know if you can see on my jacket, it looks a bit sparkly. And what that is bits of steel that's come off and embedded itself into my jacket. So it feels really rough. And you can actually, if you've got the time and effort, pick them out. But that's why you need proper PPE, because that is what you end up with. Carpenters watching who are precious about their power tools, please look away now. To get rid of burrs and rough edges, you can obviously use a grinding wheel in an angle grinder. However, if the cuts are pretty good to start with, you'll be surprised how good a standard sander with coarse paper wears down any sharp edges quickly on thin steel like this. So my rusting experiment has been on for nearly 24 hours. So let me just show you how we've got on. The first one, if you remember, was purely water. And although it shows a little bit of surface rust, obviously within this time doesn't add up to very much. So that's not going to accelerate things too quickly. The second one is the water and salt. And it's rusted a little bit more than just the water, but it's a bit blotchy. The next one was just vinegar, and definitely that has rusted more than just the water or the water and the salt. Although these little dots here, I must admit, were a little bit of a throwback from something we're going to look at in a minute, so you have to ignore those. The next one was pure hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, that has definitely started to rust significantly just in that 24 hours. Maybe if you sprayed it a few times, that will gradually rust the surface. But definitely the one that's come out the most is the vinegar and hydrogen peroxide and salt. That is quite conclusive, and that was started to happen literally as I sprayed it on the steel. Now it does look a little bit blotchy, but definitely a lot better than water or water and salt or vinegar or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my strips, now I've done all the metal work on them, out on the grass, spray it with this, and maybe that might take 2 or 3 goes, but one way or the other, I'm going to make it rust. As before, I start by cleaning any oil off the strips with a degreaser, although you could just use soapy water, and then liberally spray my rusting concoction across the whole lot. Wow, that is really quick, isn't it? Ha! Look how quickly that starts reacting. This is quite incredible how quickly this reaction works. You saw it just now, it just takes 2 seconds. While the steel strips and rusting solution are sitting in the sun festering, I turn my attention to the screws I'm going to be using to bolt everything together with, because at the moment they're nice and shiny galvanised steel which needs to match the rusty steel. So I sand the surface, trying to remove the galvanised layer, and then place into my rust solution to try to get the same look as the steel sheet. To get the bolts that are going to be connecting all my pieces together to look uniform, I make a simple jig so I can drill the bolt holes in exactly the same place on each one, which will hopefully make each joint look planned and uniform. Now that we've grown up together, they're afraid of what they see. That's the price that we all pay. When value destiny comes to nothing. There's various ways of connecting these strips together, but I've decided to make plates that will fit on the back of each join to join them together and also to penetrate into the ground to give the edging some anchorage. So I cut these from my offcuts and then fix one to each strip. I've also got a couple of returns in this edging that I need to bend a couple of pieces for, which I do just by hand, trying to make the bends as clean as possible. With all the fabrication done, I can now install my edging, and the first thing I do is mark out my edging profile with an edging tool. This will give me a slot to sit the bottom quarter or third of my 100mm high edging into and dictate the shape of the bed. The installation of this edging was pretty straightforward, even with a little bit of drilling. Didn't take very long at all. But while I was doing it, I did take the opportunity to do some weeding and sort out the borders, which I haven't done this spring so far. So everything looks a lot tidier than it did. And actually, I quite like the rust finish. It does contrast quite nicely with the green of the plants. And I think now with that edging in place, it's going to be a lot easier to be able to cut the grass and have that distinction between grass and border. So I'm really happy with the way it's come out. Not so much today with the weather, because it's really, really blustery. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Jeez.